Imagine you have an hour with a new prospect. Now, that's something you've all done before. You've done it hundreds of times. But now, I want you to look at it a little bit differently, because that hour has a cost, a value, and an impact. Now, the cost started long before you got involved. Marketing has been working, building a brand. They have been doing webcasts, podcasts, updating the website, doing collateral, going out to events, setting up booths, meeting hundreds of people, knocking them down, and coming back with a spreadsheet full of leads. Now, those leads become MQLs, which become SQLs, which get handed to BDRs and account execs. And then what do you guys get to do? You get to start getting on the phone, trying to make those connections. And of course, they answer immediately and want to talk to you. Not usually. You make 6, 8, 10, 12 calls, but then lightning strikes, and you do get a connection. And what happens? Well, you start asking your discovery questions. You tell them about your business. They tell them about, they tell them about your business. You tell them about ours. And then they say, you know something? What you're talking about is pretty interesting. We've got a spot on a Tuesday about 3 weeks from now. You think you can make it at 8 a.m.? And you say, yeah, absolutely. And hang up the phone. Do a little happy dance maybe. And then more work starts. Start checking Salesforce to make sure what have we talked to them about before. Start looking at their website. Start trying to find out if their CEO's been interviewed in Forbes or whether they've been on a podcast or written a blog to find more information. Look at their annual report, all of that type of work. And then you figure out what you're going to present. And then the demo. I got to make sure that I can get a demo person from Idaho to Iowa on the right day. Frank, are you available? And then the day before, the travel day comes. You drive to the airport. You park the car. You go through security. You get on the plane. You get off the plane. You go get your rental. You go to the hotel. That night, you have that dinner for you and Frank sit down, and you figure out the strategy. And then the next morning, you got your 60 minutes. Those 60 minutes, all that cost, all that expense, all that effort. How many cycles are you shooting for? 4 to 5, right? That's what Paul was talking about the other day. 4 to 5 cycles. How do you maximize the value of that 60 minutes? That could be one of your 4 to 5 cycles. And when I say maximize value, I don't mean to this prospect, though that is important. I mean to you. How do you maximize that value so you can get that deal to make your number to bring home that check? Well, you maximize that value. First, it starts by getting their attention. Now, that doesn't sound too hard, right? I've got your attention right now. If you get up in front of a room and you're polite and you clear your voice, you will get their attention. But that doesn't last, because you will lose that really quickly. You will see those cell phones come out unless you create a connection, a reason for them to listen to you, to show that you are bringing them value. And that is not easy, because you've got to maintain that connection through those 60 minutes. And if you can do that connection, you've earned, and I do mean earn, the right to persuade them. The definition of selling, if you look it up, the first definition is the exchange of money for goods and services. That is not you. That is the first window at the drive-thru at McDonald's. You are the second definition, to convince or persuade. Your job is to take them from point A to point B. From it doesn't work to it does. From I'm in pain to I've got great success. That is your job. And you know about that because you've been doing it for years. If you can persuade them, there's another level. Because if you persuade them in that 60 minutes and they can't remember what you told them, your value disappears the minute you walk out the door. So they need to recall what you're saying. And if they can remember what you're saying, you can do something. You can shift them. Because you can shift them from people who are listening to you to champions. And if you can get them to recall, you can do the most important thing. You can get them to retell. The term going viral is something that we're all familiar with, but we tend to think of it as online systems. That went viral on Twitter, went viral on LinkedIn, went viral on Facebook, went viral on Instagram. But those are online social networks. There are actually other social networks that you can activate. Because if you think back in the 50s, there were phrases like the grapevine, office gossip, water cooler talk. Those are live social networks that exist within organizations. If you can activate those social networks, you can get those people that are in your meeting to amplify your message after you leave. And that is vitally important.